Yes, Lucas Drumheller, Gray Los Boludo. Just tremendously proud of our team. Obviously, anybody who's been at the tournament to this point obviously has seen us at the field quite a bit early in the mornings, and proud of our guys for being resilient through that. Right, anytime you've got 3 wake-up calls at 5:15 in the morning in 4 days, that could wear on you, right, with the wrong character team. And just so proud of our guys and how they're competing. Obviously, I think we've been swinging the bat pretty well this tournament, and through that, I think we've been scoring some runs, which has given us a little bit of wiggle room defensively. And you knew at some point in the tournament there was going to have to be this game that, we stepped up on the defensive side of the baseball. And I thought we absolutely responded. And we don't necessarily talk about that. It's not something where we're getting in the team huddle okay, this is going to be the one that we need to play good defense, pitch really well. You just, when it happens, it happens. And this was absolutely one of those. We're going to have a dogfight this afternoon. Obviously, Southern Miss is a great baseball program. Ton of respect for those guys and how they play, and just their physicality, and just tremendously proud of our group, and proud of these 2 guys for what they contributed today. But really, it's top to bottom, just proud of our whole group.
Coach, 30th win of the season today. I know you're focused on continuing to win at this tournament, but as you think about what this season represents, winning a season in over a decade, what does it mean to you and to this group?
I think it means a lot, right? I think that there's, context that we put to, decisions like we talked about in the first press conference when we had Drum and we had Hayden Cross and we've got Andrew Terrell. We've got a couple other guys, but those guys have been here for 5 years, and they specifically took their 5th year to win a championship and bring a Sun Belt championship to Boone. I think that in that there's a lot of layers to that, right? Does that specifically need to be a championship to leave the program better than you found it? I don't think so, but that's not what they said. They were very specific in why they wanted to come back. They wanted to come back to win a championship. So really the win total is the win total. It's I think just what this team represents in terms of its identity, in terms of its character, in terms of its fight. Wow, man. Put a win total next to that. That's just what they represent and where they're, and we ain't done, but where they're going to leave this program is in a much better place than they found it. So wins aside, it's their heart and their determination.
Coach, Hunter Dawkins with the Gazebo Gazette and Super Talk Media, Mississippi. The question, because you spoke about Southern Miss being a quality program. The last 2 months they've pretty much been, not lost a game, maybe one here or there. What was the formula that you guys used against this? Was there a formula, or was it just with the players just talking to go out and play this way or that?
Well, I think it starts with the second that we left here yesterday. My coaching staff was grinding. I mean, they were on a computer. Our first base coach, I think he said he slept for 25 minutes last night after watching video, because we had nothing on him. So we hadn't played him this season. Pitching coach, same thing. Coach Johnson, same thing. I'm positioning myself, same thing. So, I think when you get to this point in the year, you watch video and you assess, different weaknesses and strengths, no question. But at the end of the day, we're at a portion of the year that it's kind of like next best guy. Like what's our best option? What puts App State in the best position to be successful? Not that there isn't strategy, and not that you aren't, trying to maybe expose a weakness. But the formula is us. The formula is not the opponent. The formula is our belief in our brand of what we do and our resiliency, more so than it is about a formula to beat another team. But I don't want to take away from the work that my staff did to prepare for this game.
So you're saying too that you're not necessarily, you guys still going to use that same formula that your coaches went over last night with preparation of game film on Southern that you guys had done today?
Yeah, I mean, unless we weren't very good at it today, so I think that we'll go back and look at the things that we maybe didn't do well. Maybe we thought we were going to do something, or this, that, and the other. Obviously we only scored 4 runs on 12 hits, so there's a few more runs there that I think we left on the bases. Hitting's hard, right? Like the formula is, but yeah, I thought they did a very good job in going from Adams to Sibley. That was it really kind of threw us off a little bit, to be honest with you. They're both very, very quality arms, obviously, but the going from the profile of the Adams fastball to the profile of Sibley's fastball. And their secondary stuff was very, very good. Specifically, Adams' breaking ball early was giving us a lot of trouble, and that was kind of like his go-to to get out of his jams. But after watching a ton of video on him last night, we're not the only ones that he's done that to. But just two quality arms.
Thank you, Gary.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, I got one for both of the players. You guys, once again in the 6th inning, put up a couple runs, and that ends up, being what decides the game. What are y'all doing in the dugout to kind of communicate to each other, different arms and what you're seeing up there?
I think we're just doing a good job of believing in one another, and it's kind of funny that it turns out that the 6th inning ended up being a big one again today. But yeah, just belief in one another and going out there and fighting.
I would just say, like, in the dugout, just kind of keep the energy up and have everyone engaged. It just kind of shows everyone, all the hitters, that we're behind them and stuff.
And then, Coach, your bullpen's been outstanding this week. Talk a little bit about, the performances that you got today.
Yeah, pretty special. I don't know how many innings that is now for Gray in this tournament, but it's a few. He's been a big part of just our overall success in this tournament. But yeah, I mean, it's I made the analogy last night. We ran a similar matchup against James Madison Game 2 during the season that we did last night against Troy, and it didn't work, right? But it just didn't work that night, right? And it worked last night. So I think just throughout the year, we've continuously tried to put people in position to be prepared for these moments, right? Not just to do it for preparation, do it because you believe them, right? Like the reason you put somebody in is because you think at that moment in time that this is the best person in that position, or regardless of whether that's game 3 of the season or that's game 54 of the season, right? And everywhere in between. And all the time it doesn't work. Baseball's a really, really grueling game. It's unkind sometimes, but. I think all of those experiences, right, and maybe Gray could answer this better than I could, but, every single person's got a little bit of a story to this point, right, and all those stories add up to this moment, right, and we've got a game to play this afternoon that, that we're going to go give our very best to, and we're going to ask some guys to take a baseball on the mound and go throw it to the best of their God-given ability. And but it's not going to be the first time they've been put in that situation. Like, they've been put in that situation throughout the year. So, Gray, you got anything on that?
I would say just having trust in the defense behind you, just knowing if you fill it up in the zone, balls are going to be put in play and they're going to make the plays behind your back.
Ray, you talk about the trust in your defense. How about the trust in you by your coaching staff? You've been put in several big spots throughout this tournament. What does it mean to be trusted in that role and to be able to come through like that?
Honestly, it feels pretty good just knowing that they trust my stuff and I can trust all the work they put in doing all the film studying stuff, and just it feels pretty good.
And Drum, you made that great catch down the right field line, diving over the bullpen. Just take me through that play from the ball leaving the bat to you being able to secure it. What was that like for you, and what was the conversation on the field?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of blacked out there, just trying to compete as hard as I can, and I'm grateful that it landed in my glove. That bullpen bound got the best of me.
Coach, you talked about pitching matchups. You made 2 moves with the top of their lineup coming up. How important was it for you to not see their lineup face the same guy more than twice through?
Yeah, I mean, that's always a thought. I thought that Seth did a great job starting, and I thought it was a great time to insert Gray, and it kind of happened to be at the start of the lineup. But yeah, I think that you're always kind of thinking keep it fresh one time through a lineup. I think if you can, because those guys are, you go down the list there. Pretty distinctly different from one another, other than Skylar and Steensman. I don't think that they face the same guys. So, yeah, you're talking about, 2-1-2. Yeah, those guys didn't face a very similar match look all the way through the last few innings there. But, Yeah, and back to, Drum's play and Gray's ability to bounce back and throw multiple innings. We have 4 letters at the bottom of our practice plan on a daily basis, TGHT, the game honors toughness. And I think that, guys being able to bounce back and throw multiple innings in a tournament, guys making plays like that, I'm a firm believer that ground ball that Drum hit the other night that hit the first base bag and bounced over, it's because the game honors toughness. There's not a tougher person on the planet than this guy. I think our team's embodying what toughness means right now, and that's our identity, and we're being honored for it.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.